from the Conquerors, and they hail from the Western Cape. Here are some of the results. Earlier game today, the Mandeville Falcons taking out Sun United by 54 points to 25. It was a good win. And Jerry Smith will take you through the team sheets for this next encounter between the Rhinos and the Conquerors.
The Polokwane Rhinos for today, players to watch out for is the number 8 there, Matsashadzi, as well as Mpo Koza, the number 11. And for the Conquerors, the players definitely to look out for: number 10, Kola Ialeso; number 13, Alverna Rousseau; and number 5, Lloyd Lingefeld.
It's the high ball and it's game on here at the Vodacom Mandeville Indoor Centre. And these two very inexperienced sides. And when you've got two inexperienced sides, you've generally got the makings of a fairly even game. And there's the first basket that's already been scored by the Conquerors. They are the team in the lime green. They're playing from right to left. And they're up against the Polokwane Rhinos, who are in the red, left to right on your screen.
Andy, I think on paper, Conquerors are definitely going to be the favourites here in this encounter. Players of note there, Kola Ialeso and Alverna Rousseau, national team under 23 players. So should have the makings of the Rhinos outfit.
Well, it's great to see sides that are still being formed, and good to see a side from Polokwane. And that was a very well taken basket by the Conquerors side, using the glass, the high glass, and just taking it off. So two shots to the 2 shots taken and 2 shots to the good for the Conquerors. Conquerors are going to be holding the Rhinos, one would think, on a man-to-man defense. And as you said, Zola Ialeso is one of the players with huge potential, playing at number 10 for the Conquerors. But the ball to be put in by the Rhinos, who've yet to get into the Conquerors half of the court.
Of course, the Rhinos smarting from a bit of a hiding yesterday, so it's not going to get that much easier today.
Yeah, look, they can say that they're part of wheelchair basketball history in South Africa. I think they're the only side that's ever only scored 1 point in a game, and in that particular game, the opposition scored a century. So that doesn't happen very often. It does talk to the inexperience of the side, but it's certainly a huge divide between those two sides that participated. And at the moment, it's the Conquerors coming straight back at the Rhinos. And the Rhinos just a little apprehensive to come out and meet the opposition. Shot's about to go up, and that shot was taken by Sean Cezani. He's back in possession at number 8. Shot from the side, going back to Cezani at the top of the key, and that is how you do it. So 3 very impressive baskets from the Conquerors. And one just wonders what sort of defense the Conquerors are going to appoint here, because if they play a man-on-man, this game could be pear-shaped very quickly.
Yeah, I think they, they're obviously starting off. They maybe want to get secure the win early, and then hopefully they don't press the whole game, because it'll make a bit of a joke of the encounter. And
yeah, Jerry, I've always been of the opinion that to gain experience you need to play a better opposition, but sometimes the margins do nothing but just demoralize you. And let's would hope, as we see the first time out of the game called, and that timeout has been called by the Conquerors. Let's try and hear what their coach is saying.
Yesterday you do picks, ne? You do pick for these guys. Simple. Ne? Don't panic. They're just pressuring you. Don't panic. When you get ball, put your bumper here. It creates space. Then you can.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
So the Conquerors are still in possession after a quick timeout, and that was just the timeout literally just to tell everybody that everything's going according to plan, and certainly everything is going according to plan for the Conquerors at the moment. The Rhinos are hardly in this game. Another basket dropping for the Conquerors. The Rhinos, Jerry, just looking shell-shocked. They're not really even sure as to how to get out of their key.
Yeah, they're obviously not well drilled in how to break a full court press. And again, you know, Andy, I think we did allude to it in last week's encounter with the Wolves side. You know, the teams from the Polokwane area in the North Limpopo province, relatively new, and it certainly does show. So a lot of, well, whilst they have been doing some good work up there, it's a long way to go.
It's a huge mountain to climb, and of course, there again you see it. They were just held for those 8 seconds. They couldn't get the ball out of their key. A valiant attempt there from Mahomela at playing at number 10 for the Rhinos, but they were not able to get the ball in, so it comes straight back to the Conquerors. And I got a feeling all we're going to see today is a shooting display or a situation where the Conquerors can try different combinations. There's got to be some attempt, a big attempt from the men in red to counter the attack that's going to be just constant from the Conquerors. Balls in from the back line, top of the key. Yalezo
finding Rousseau on that occasion, and Rousseau converts. I think Kola Yalezo will use this opportunity to get a lot of shooting practice in.
Mahomela trying to get rid of it and puts it straight back into the opposition's hands. Nobody's waiting back for the ball for the Rhinos. It's basic coaching that's needed here. Well, finally into the opposition quarter we go, and can this be a two-pointer? It is well taken, and it's Joseph Sabanda.
Smiles on the bench of the Rhinos, and at least they have some good spirits.
Yeah, and it was he was just holding back on that fast break.
3-second violation called against the Conquerors. Alvena Rousseau would have been better for him to take the shot, but shooting it, passing it straight back to Yalezo, and blown for the 3-second violation.
So interesting to see that Sean Cezani is the captain and the coach for the Conquerors. We did see him doing some of the talking. We didn't really hear much of him, but doing the talking to the Conquerors. And that's quite a mantle to carry, coach, captain. Good interplay skills. And that was Cezani with that attempt. Oh boy, that just hung out, and second attempt is good. Well, they've certainly got the ball into the half, but there's nobody there to receive it. So the Conquerors come all the way back. And loose man sitting, just waiting for the layup opportunity. Not capitalized on.
Lubulalo Nzama there, looks like he picked up a little bit of a knock, but he'll have the opportunity to go to the line.
first free throw attempts as we see a substitution, and it is Sean Josephs who's come on at number 12 for they in the lime green, the Conquerors. And the 2 free shots are about to be taken. This is
Nzaba's shot there was a little bit too flat, Andy. We alluded to the shot of Alan Mtatasi in the earlier game, and an example of shooting flat and not able to convert.
But they did come back and they did convert. So, yeah, that was Yalezu who picked up the loose ball off the rebound. Took the 2 quick fire 16 points we've seen from the Conquerors in this first quarter. 1 solitary basket so far from the Rhinos. So possession is with the Rhinos. There's an opportunity to put something in and hopefully get a shot up. Yeah, it can be a little soul destroying when you're up against it and you are a side that are literally just forming and you're thrown into the big time. And the Terence de Bruin Cup certainly is the big time from a point of view that it leads to your qualification for the Pinnacle tournament, which is the Super Series. That'll start in September, and at least you've been exposed.
Andy, I think the best way to describe this is it's a minnows team from the, like when you're playing in the FA Cup football, taking on one of the the giants. Maybe Conquerors aren't quite one of the giants, but certainly in this game, the Rhinos would be looking at that.
Yeah, it's a very good analogy. You've got to start somewhere. That's the key. And the learnings, as long as you can actually take those learnings and do something with them. They've managed to get themselves into the opposition's half. A bit of a panic shot, a pass. And this is the solitary basketball scorer, and he's got his second. That basket's going to count. And that's some good play from Joseph Sibanda. He might even get the 3rd bite at the cherry because he was fouled on the shot. Indeed he does. Wow, nearly able to capitalize on picking up the rebound. And he's picked up the rebound again. So some good work being done here by Joseph Sibanda at number 15 for the Rhinos. But it's all come to naught,
And just having a look at the team sheet, Andy, Joseph Sibanda just about turning 70 a bit later on in the year. So, one could say experience.
Sure. Hats off to him.
I stand under correction though, looking at it, I see he might be one of the players from Zimbabwe.
Yes, I don't think that is
I
quite
was going to
correct.
say, wow.
Because you're almost making me want to come out and play again. And that would be a sight to behold.
No, I think the case is, he's a player that's come across from Zimbabwe, and looks like he would probably be their best player at this stage.
So the Rhinos looking to try and just do something in the last couple of seconds. Well, that was a very good pass. It was nearly intercepted, as we see one of the Conquerors just toppled out of his chair. And I think that's going to be, well, it's certainly man down in the danger zone, so you don't want that.
It's Tariq Mentour was crashing to the ground, and the defensive player there, number 5 for the Rhinos, Mokhale, called for the foul because he didn't have.
Yeah, it was a
share
barging
possession,
foul,
yeah.
and that was a massive opportunity taken there, but it was a barging foul by Mokhale as we end the first quarter, which has just been very, very tough for the Rhinos, but they have managed to get a couple of baskets. And they've ended that quarter with a 16-point trail behind the Conquerors. There it is, that's confirmation. 20 points to 4. Conquerors leading the Rhinos. Mashadzi to put the ball in to start the third quarter. Beg your pardon, the second quarter, and that was actually a court violation, which wasn't picked up. His wheel did go into the back court, but just not picked up by the match official. Thank goodness for the Rhinos, because they're up against everything else. All they need to be they don't need to be fighting back court violations. Joseph Sabanda. Early start in the second quarter. 2 free shots coming up. Wow. Just bobbling around. That wasn't far away. A little more height needed, and that looked flat as well. So Jerry, from a WBSA point of view, what are the coaching opportunities up there in the Polokwane area? Do they have coaches or coaches being deployed? Because clearly this is a very nervous side. They've come out here to play. They clearly have got a team that practices. They've got the uniforms. They know the rules, seemingly. It's just a case of molding a team.
Yes, Andy, I know the coaching commission of WBSA have actually travelled out to Polokwane and done 1 or 2 workshops, and even this weekend the coaching director Max McLean has been doing a couple of workshops during the off hours. Whole of yesterday when the games weren't going on, the coaches were being put through their paces.
Well, they'll take that one. They'll take those 2 points.
Absolutely.
That was probably the basket of the game as we talk. So that was Mahomela with a great little loop shot, but there's an immediate response from the Conquerors. Sorry, I did interrupt. Yeah, just to say that there's clearly potential. It needs to be pulled together, and hopefully we'll see a representation of note from the Polokwane area in the not too distant future.
Yeah, no, and I think also the onus must come from the Polokwane, community, and take out the extra effort to get to the coaching opportunities. You know, we WBSA I know also do virtual training, so there's definitely opportunities, and hopefully they'll take that.
You can only do so much training as a team. A lot of it comes from your own individual effort. And let's just hope that we do see a vast improvement. But the one thing that is very encouraging is that we do have a side representative of a region that we haven't really seen in the past, and that's great to see.
And the challenge is now out there to the likes of Mpumalanga and Free State, and you know, even to a less extent Northern Cape, to get their programs going and hopefully see their teams in the not too distant future.
It's wonderful to see so many new kids on the block and the opportunities being afforded them. They need to get this ball. There's nobody to take it over the line, and finally somebody does break through, and that was just on the tipping point. That was never ever going to find its destination, but just the little improvement on getting into the opposition half as the opposition continue to rain down the attempts, not necessarily scoring the shots. Ball has been stolen again. It's in the context of this game, the Conquerors aren't known to be one of the strongest sides in the Super Series, but in the context of this game, they certainly are far superior. And this what will do their confidence a world of good as well, because it's an opportunity for them to try out moves and combinations, steals like we've just seen. And how about that for confidence? Bingo.
Yeah, I mean, Conquerors obviously had a loss yesterday, so I think their attitude coming into this game is to, you know, let's get some points on the board and let's try and push on.
Yeah, and some of the baskets that they've scored have been impressive. Yalezo in particular, playing at number 10.
Yeah, for Conquerors, Yalezo, they're definitely their strongest player, and most of their points do come from the number 10 in possession right now. Yalezo's already put on 16 points, and we still got half of the second quarter to go, so that just tells you something. Sean Suzani and Lloyd Lingerveld coming on for the Conquerors.
So Suzani is the captain of the Conquerors, number 8. And we've seen Lloyd Lingerveld.
Lloyd Lingerveld very much instrumental in the Conquerors outfit, as you know, getting that club up and running, and doing a good job for the Western Cape.
Well, that's great, because the Western Cape, this tournament is named after one of their superstar players, Terence de Bruin. He hailed from the Western Cape, and these are the qualifiers for the Super Series. Very appropriate to have named the tournament after Terence de Bruin. He loved the developmental aspect. He was a very motivated player, very, very agile, extremely fast, and a lovely character to boot.
Rhinos there called for the offensive charge, and quite clear that was the situation there, and good call there from referee Charles.
Well, what else would you expect from a Rhino but an offensive charge? So he's just living up to the name.
Having said that, it looks like the call went the other way, but certainly the referee did signal an offensive foul.
So there's nobody marking this particular individual, so they've got all the time to the Conquerors to get the ball over the line, steal a few seconds for what's to come, and that surely will be a foul called on the Conquerors player. That was barging, literally rode straight into the Rhino. And you don't want to ride into a static Rhino. That's the last thing you want to do. Wrong option taken by the runners. And how about that for a basket? Wow, that's just confidence personified. And again, it's Yelezo. He's got that little underhand flick. So taped. Not an easy shot. Clearly works at that shot because it's not a natural shot and it's not an easy shot. And his percentage is extremely high.
Uleza picking up the rebound after Lingerfeld's shot didn't drop and adding to his tally.
So he missed the free shot but was able to come back and take a second rebound and another 2 points to his account. So
taking his tally up to 18 points and picks up the steal.
Again, this amazing little wrist shot. He's obviously spent a lot of time perfecting it because it is fabulous to watch.
Andy, fabulous to watch, but not necessarily part of the textbook coaching manuals. I know, sometimes the coaches would get frustrated, but it's one of those situations where he's developed it over the years, and there's no changing it at this stage.
In days gone by, if you tried a shot like it and it had dropped, you would have just got this massive applause from whoever was watching, including the opposition. But just like any other sport, if you watch, for argument's sake, the T20 cricket, we're seeing some amazing strokes, batsmen playing hook shots, helicopter shots, whatever shots you like, and the same in all sports. Everybody's becoming more adventurous and developing what works for them. So the Conquerors are well on their way to getting a very impressive score. By the end of the first half, they're already on 36 points. So the Rhinos have had an opportunity, but just literally giving it away. What was that about?
Yeah, the runners definitely have absolutely no sort of structured gameplay. And, Andy, I think for them it would be at least get one and let's work on that gameplay. And
yeah, they're very apprehensive. They're not. It's about confidence. It's it's the quantum leap into the big time, and they've got to start believing in each other. So Lingerfeld, second bite at the cherry, missed the first. A little bit stronger, but still not strong enough.
Conquerors not relaxing the full court press.
No, they're definitely not. And this is about winning, and winning big, just in case the margins count. As we see, Yolezo just keeps marching on, and there is the problem for the Rhinos. 13 turnovers, and I would say to you that at least 12 of those have turned out to be a basket opportunity for the opposition. Too many turnovers, too much bunching,
and just not able to even get out of their own half.
No.
In the background there, the coaching staff looking at their coaching board, and I would suggest to say that they just have no solution to the press here that the Conquerors are putting on them.
It will be key for the Rhinos in their development process to watch these games that they've played and just realize how static they are. Just a bit of movement and coming left hand on the right hand players, giving yourself an opportunity to at least receive the ball, and when you do it, there's no need to panic. And try a shot here. He had an opportunity, there was a player coming through, no need for that panic shot.
And now Yeleza will just keep on ticking over his personal points tally for the game.
And Yeleza with the intercept, the steal, but it has gone the way of the Rhinos. Is there something left for the Rhinos? Is that coach learning anything by watching this demolition? One would hope so, because that's where you start. Long shot attempt. Why not? Very strong off the wrists.
Lingeveld will look to convert, but his shot is very flat.
All his shots have been very short, very flat. Lingeveld, he needs to use his height. He's got a height advantage, use it. And that was never going to find its way. That is the end of the half, and the Rhinos will certainly look at that score sheet and say, how quickly can we get through what's still to come? Good performance so far from the Conquerors, some structured basketball. And there it is, 40 points to 6. The Conquerors lead the Rhinos. It's half time.
This needs to be a minute-long highlight package just of some of the Conquerors and their 6 points.
When you stay looking at the Orby?
I try and fly in and out, but I come up yesterday. I stayed at Charles' last night. But yeah, either Orby. Sometimes if the team's on here, I'll stay down in the living rooms here.
easy sometimes to look to reel back the years. And I don't want to use that thing when we played basketball, but in the day, when I look at them from a thinking perspective, and I think of some of the great players that we had in this country, and we in the early 90s, when we were banned and all that sort of shit. Sorry, the late 80s and the early 90s. Some of the players there, given these opportunities that these players have got today, could have been superstars. The likes of Mike Notorious in his heyday, Kevin Smith certainly as a playmaker, Chris Carey to a point, probably me to a point, given in the right position. My long shot was I was shooting 70% on the top of the key. They would set me up every time. Set me up with the screen, and my stats were 70%. So they did. They 10 rand for your basket, 5 rand debit when they scored. And that side eventually, I've still got the photographs. We went 156 games unbeaten.
That's exactly right. And this is what these guys should be trying to do.
Yeah. And that's how you improve the game. The Rhinos on the attack. Jump ball immediately called. That jump ball goes the way of the Conquerors, and nobody out there to mark the Conquerors. We see that shot again. It is so drilled. It is just fabulous to watch. I don't know that I've ever seen a player master that shot quite the way that we've seen young Zola Yelezo do. Just mesmerizing to watch. And here he is again. Shoots overhand that time, and no problem. Still 2 more points.
Takes his tally up to 26 points for this game.
It's the Yelezo show. It's almost, I think what you could do at the moment is you could probably take three of the Conquerors off, just put somebody to take the rebounds, maybe a Lingerfeld rebounds, and just flick them over to Yelezo, because he really is come out. He's on song, he's on form, he's not allowing the fact that the opposition is so weak to interfere with his game. He's playing it as if it was a final, and that's certainly the spirit that it should be played in. Matsatetla at number 5, put it in for the Rhinos. It's come away. The Conquerors are able to control it, pick it up, and guess who? Over the line, and it was a very good pass to Lingerveld. Nothing wrong with the pass. Lingerveld just a little slow to react.
I think Lingerveld was doing what we were doing and just watching the Yeleza show and didn't expect the pass.
You spot on. He must have been listening to the commentary. He didn't expect that pass, but acknowledged very quickly that he should have been perhaps a little more awake to the fact that it was coming through. Guess who? This time it works. Can Lingerveld finish off the move? He certainly can. And the Rhinos don't even have an option to pass it to anybody. That's the frightening thing here. They just bunched. They're all sitting static. Nobody's moving. Yes, they are up against a strong defense, but you certainly need the mobile players to be moving to try and create the opportunities for somebody to be on the receiving end from the back line. And if ever there was a lesson on how to put the boot in, as they say, you're seeing it right now. Easy as you like. Yelezu just riding around at random, little underhand flick. Well, missed out on that time. But it's back in possession, puts it through, gives somebody else an opportunity to attempt. And despite the huge margin, the Conquerors still won't be happy with that, Jerry. When you're right under the basket and you're missing those sitters, it should just be a rout. It should just be basket after basket after basket.
Absolutely no excuse to miss those easy opportunities.
So here we have that example that I was alluding to just now. It is a ball from the back line and the Rhinos are static. Who's the receiver?
Yeah, it makes it very difficult for the player inbounding the ball, and all that's happening is he's just lobbing it in and it's bouncing straight back into the loving arms of the Conqueror, so to speak.
That whistle had gone, so I suspect it's going to be some shots from the line. It is indeed. No, that's not the case. It's a back line. It's Lingerveld looking to put the ball in. Oh, now it's gone to the Rhinos players. So the Rhinos do get a little reprieve. And there's no need to bounce that ball. You don't have to bounce it. Just get rid of it. Mashadzi looking very bemused. He had nowhere else to go. Basically pushed into another player by another player. So here is an opportunity where they are mobile and they can get the ball over the line. That's been achieved, and number 5 for the Rhinos was fouled. So they'll keep possession, and at least they can say they got into the Conquerors' half. Conquerors very quick to create a man-on-man.
And at last, the Rhinos converting their first points of this half, and
Mahomela, he gets his name on the score sheet. basket drops for the Conquerors. So the Conquerors have hit the half century, 50 points, and still about 4 minutes left in the third and a full quarter to come. Got to get that ball over the line. The Rhinos guilty. Guilty. No, that's not a replay. It's another basket by Yolezo. He seems to have scored so many using that little underhand flick. And that's yet another basket for the Conquerors from the same man.
Yeah, Yolezo now.
32 points from Yolezo. 16 clear baskets, and I wonder how many of those were that little underhand flick. He's got nobody stopping him, he's got nobody, there's no resistance, and he's able to do it at will. So timeout has been called. The timeout is the way of the arrow, guys.
Yeah, Werner, you're going to go in? Just give us, I think, Irvin.
Let him play a bit. How much time does Werner owe?
Werner owes us nothing.
Huh?
Werner owes us nothing, it's only Luba.
Okay, let Luba play. That's the 5 they play now. Okay. We're going to do it now.
You're right. Sean, you're right.
Sean, I'm going to do it now. Yeah.
Sorry, let me just correct you there, Andy. The arrow pointing is the alternating possession arrow.
But it still was them who had called the film.
Well, I'm just saying, but the arrow is the alternating
By coincidence, every time there has been a timeout, the arrow's been pointing at that team. Don't worry about it.
Good work there by Sean Suzani, and adds to the tally there from the Conquerors. Yolezo finding Nzaba, and Nzaba extends the Conquerors points tally up to the 58-point mark, and almost getting to 60 points before the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, it's time to have mercy now on the Rhinos, because they very unfortunately are just not in any way, shape or form involved in this game. It's carnage.
And Andy, perhaps, you know, again, the Conquerors could look at it and say, all right, we know that our full court press has worked in this game, and let's give an opportunity to see how our zone defense is working, and maybe something for them to consider.
You are spot on. This is the time where you don't just, you know that you are far superior to the opposition, but this is the opportunity to use it for the future. Remember, you've got the likes of the Falcons and the Lions coming your way, and you want to play those teams at their level. So the only way to do that is to start using combinations, trying moves that perhaps might seem ambitious against the big sides, but against a side like this, those moves will certainly come off. Yeah. And the only way you bolster those that experience and those opportunities is by using this setting.
Exactly, they've got an opportunity to get their, you know, maybe work on a line defense and get that right, so that when they play the likes of the Lions or the Falcons, they will be able to do a better job. And once again, Yolezo converts.
But certainly Yolezo will go away having had a field day in terms of his own personal shooting practice. Well, there's an opportunity, and again, somehow the Rhinos weren't able to hold on to that because they had literally 3-on-1 at one stage. Just a bit of panic.
The long arms of Alverno Rousseau there, knocking the ball out as the Rhinos try to inbound it. Of course, Alverno Rousseau's nickname is in fact Arms.
Conqurous actually giving the Rhinos a little bit of an opportunity there, which they didn't take. So the body language from the coach, one wonders. He seems to be relatively relaxed. Maybe it's because they've managed to score 8 points as opposed to the solitary point they did score in their encounter against the Mandeville Falcons. But 8 points in the Terence de Bruin qualifiers is not really an ideal situation. So there's a man loose, and Yelezu has come back and he's literally stolen it. But look at the smile, he knows. Wow, just managed to get the wheel in over the line.
And there goes those long arms of Alverno Rousseau, and he will get Yelezo down the coast to coast, and that will take Yelezo up to 40 points for the game.
So Adams Rousseau managed to get a very good pass off there to Yelezo, who just extends his stay under the basket, and very profitable it's been. Yelezo's also done an amazing amount of work off the wall. His defense has been good, his intercepting, and there you see exactly what we're saying. That is the end of the quarter. Just didn't manage to get the shot up in time.
Yes, Andy Yelezo, you talk about off the ball work there. He's affected 7 steals. Normally a player that does turn the ball over quite a bit, so turned it over 3 times and picked up 5 offensive rebounds.
And that's what's happened. Just look at those quarters. 20 points to 4, 20 points to 2, 26 points to 2, and that's amassed a very healthy lead. The Conquerors lead at the end of the third, 66 points to 8. It's all over, as they say, bar the shouting. Just a fourth to come, and the Conquerors will look to extend that, no doubt, and the Rhinos, hopefully they can just make some difference on the score sheet.
You are a 2. You are a ball carrier. You run away from your job. You just go, just go.
My sister. I don't have stuff. No, I'm there. What's happening?
There you were confused. You are in the middle. Players are coming.
What's happening? Let me tell you something. You must tell this guy. They don't pick up for us.
No.
I'm marking pictures. They don't pick up for us.
Wait. Yeah.
They don't pick up for us.
But him, I saw him picking. I showed him, he picked for you. When going back there.
I told him to pick for me, yeah. I'm picking him out. But your feet are there. You are always at the back. How can I pick for you when
it's a ball.
Ball. See the red dot on the, it actually says Tio, timeout. That's where your red dot is. It was just coincidence that the arrow was pointing every time. But that's the way it works. What a pass. That is an opportunity, and that should have been 2 points. That was about the best pass we've seen, Jerry, to start off the fourth quarter by the Rhinos.
Yeah, it's good good start. Quite an animated bench at the end of that quarter, but unfortunately unable to convert that opportunity.
So what we saw on the bench was a hullabaloo between some of the players and the coach, who was trying to play devil's advocate, because some of the players were saying to the other players, "You don't give us the passes, you don't pick, you don't do this, you don't do that," and that is all part of experience. It's all part of building a team, understanding what your role is. Are you an offensive player? Are you a defensive player? What do you specialize? What should we be looking for? And I got a funny feeling that in time to come, with some decent coaching, they've got a bit of talent. Who knows? The Rhinos could become, I wouldn't say too formidable in the very near future, but they can develop as a team.
Yeah, and you know, as I said, it starts with the administration, who are doing a good job. So that they need the foundation to start. So they have now got that foundation, and it's now up to their coaches, their technical officials to, you know, to get out there and get better, and hopefully they do that.
Well, they've had 2 attempts, they've had 3 attempts. They can have a slightly more spirited to start off the final quarter, but certainly a long way from what one might even call a half-finished product. We wish them well in their growth. And from the Conquerors' point of view, although they've played some composed basketball, one just hopes this isn't a false sense of victory, because they've got a road. If there was an MVP, clearly it would go to one man. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and yeah, you know, again, the what we're seeing on screen here is a dominant performance by the Conquerors, but they need to be careful not to rely just as the Rhinos there add to their points tally.
Mahomelo with a great shot, one of the shots of the game, but an immediate response.
And it leads me straight back to the point I was going to make there, in that they rely heavily on Kola Yeleso, and the stronger teams know that, and their gameplay will be shutting Yeleso out. So the Conquerors actually need to, you know, spread the play out a bit.
But it's also psychologically good for a player like Yeleso to have been given the freedom of the court. He's been given the freedom to just get out there and express himself, and boy, has he done exactly that.
Yeah, he still needs to convert those attempts that he's been afforded, and he is doing exactly that.
That's the point. Well, a long attempt there. There was an opportunity to have passed that off to the basket scorer, but Yeleso again, he just hesitated there, put himself off.
Lezo is almost reaching the 50-point mark now in the game. Currently at 46 points. Somebody get him a cricket bat.
Yes. About to find his way in the way. There's still 5 minutes to go, so one wouldn't even doubt that he's going to get that half century. It's just a case of, if he's not subbed, how many more points will he get onto his single tally? Great ball skills. Look at this. Wow.
And gets the rebound.
I think it would be very safe to say that this is one case where this team definitely did. They came, they saw, and they've conquered. Lived up to their names today.
No comment, Andy.
Here's a fast break from the Rhinos, but a quick overtake Rhinos trying to keep the ball in play. Nothing but inexperience. Could have picked the ball up off the wheel. Just scored a fabulous basket a couple of minutes ago, but not able to even control the ball going out of play. Too much panic. Timeout is a thing of the past, and we are into, I'm sure, what the Rhinos will be quite happy to see, the last 5 minutes of this game being played in the qualifiers for the Supersport Wheelchair Basketball Series. And of course, I'm talking about the Terence de Bruin Cup. 12 teams that started out on a journey, only 6 will qualify, and Super Series will be brought to you post the return of the team that goes to the Commonwealth Games. And Jerry, you're off to the Commonwealth Games shortly with the team. That'll be a 3-on-3 competition. First time, I think, that South Africa would have participated at that level.
Yes, Andy. Yeah, it's actually the first time that wheelchair basketball is being included in the Commonwealth Games. So a lot of excitement as we head off in a week on Thursday.
Well, we wish the team, the management, everybody, including those at Sascot, the very best. Let's hope the 3-on-3 stage can produce some goods. We've certainly got the players in that department, or in that format. Too many attempts. No, everybody had time there to think about it. So if we took that in a frame and showed everybody, they all had time, but the ball was a hot potato. Because every time the ball goes up, your 3 seconds starts again. That ball was just bobbing up and down. 76 points to the Conquerors, 10 to the Rhinos. At least they got into double figures, and that is a psychological milestone. Can the Rhinos at least get one back?
Substitution called by the Conquerors, and Adams Rousseau comes onto the court, and he replaces Lloyd Lingeveld.
I think Adams Rousseau can go the full extension of a wheel revolution holding the rim
Without even bending forward.
without even bending forward. Those arms, when they start to unravel.
Poetry in motion. And Yelezo looking to take his tally to 50, but and he does.
Well, he faked it for a second, but that is a remarkable performance from any player to score 50 points on your own in a game. Doesn't matter who your opposition are. It is a very high percentage of shooting. And apart from that, he's just had a great game. It's not just about the shooting. And again, Jerry, as in any sport, the Conquerors now, despite the fact that this is a complete walkover, It's 78 points. Next milestone is going to be, can we get to 80? Then, wow, can we push it to 90? What else can we do? Because it just builds up the confidence, it builds up the arrogance, it builds up all of the positivity that you need when you go in your next encounter.
Definitely, Andy, and you know, I think also we spoke about it. Yes, they've dominated, but they've still had to convert those attempts, and
Yeah.
they have done exactly that. So I think they'll be happy with that aspect of it. You know, obviously always a little bit more work that needs doing, but they have to be happy with that.
And there they continue that route. So that is the 80 points.
Yeah, and you know, as we see in the graphic there, 55% shooting percentage for the Conquerors. They would want to get that up to about 75. So there's still a bit of work to do.
So Yelezo, they're coming off his own player. Well, here is a situation where had that pass been accurate, it would have been a 4-on-1. And again, inexperienced. Baskets just keep dropping for the Conquerors. And what the Conquerors are doing quite smartly, they're just leaving a player who's just literally loitering at the far end of the court, knowing that at some point there's going to be an intercept or a loose ball, and you'll be the recipient. All you've got to do is take the 2 points.
And it goes back to what you were talking about earlier, and because they're so static, that inbound ball, the Conquerors are more mobile, and they're picking off those loose passes at will.
And scoring at will too, in the case of this young man, number 10, Yelezo.
54 points. It must be it must be some form of a record, surely.
Wow, a little bit of flashy individual play, but then ball has been stolen. And those little moments just give that kind of player a little bit of confidence, knowing that he did that. I can control the ball, and the more time you spend with the basketball, just dribbling it, passing it, shooting it, the more confident you get. And we do with this Rhinos side, who've been absolutely trounced here, the very best in their development, and that is the final hooter. There is what would have been the MVP had we been naming them in the early rounds. He's had a blinder in every aspect of the game as young Yelezo.
Yeah, and just to touch on it, 54 points from Yelezo. He stole the ball 14 times, 5 turnovers against us, but all-round performance very, very good.
Yeah, that'll be satisfying for both the coach and, of course, WBSA at large, that there is a player with such potential that's coming through the ranks. He's been coming through for a while. And that coach has got some serious work that needs to be done. Of course, I'm talking about the coach for the Rhinos. This is a particularly happy bench for this particular game. And there it is, the confirmation of the final score here. And to the big relief of the Rhinos, it's all over. 84 points to 10. It's the Conquerors from the Western Cape who've taken the accolades here against the Polokwane Rhinos. And these are the match stats for the game. It is all about the 2-pointers. 57% from the Conquerors. Had that been higher, wow, what could have happened to that score? Most of those points scored by Yelezo. Look at the fouls, 11-9, pretty even there. But the turnovers on the Rhinos, 33 turnovers, and the bulk of those leading to baskets. And that's just a breakdown again of the baskets, and 57%. Conquerors will be happy with that, but it could have been better. Lots of work to do for the Rhinos. So the results for today's play: the Mandeville Falcons 54-25, a good one over Sun United. Sun United perhaps just a little lax in some areas, and a thrashing of the Rhinos by the Conquerors, 84 points to 10. We're on screen, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Am I doing a welcome? Or just... Okay.